Alright, now that I showed you guys the links, I'm going to go ahead and hide this so you guys can see the full SC2 screen. Pleasure to see all you guys come out here for the show. Big shout outs to everyone. Alrighty guys, this is the grand finals, best of 3. I wouldn't mind turning this into a best of 5, but whatever these guys want. Let's go ahead and start this off, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, at the top right, we're gonna see Stranger spawning as the green Zergy McFerguson. And at the bottom left, we're gonna see the blue Protoss. It's gonna go ahead. It's gonna go ahead and spawn as Upriser. That's right, folks. Calm down, folks. Calm down. There's enough of... Oh, that was weird. There's enough manliness to go around. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this game. PvZ, a classic matchup to go ahead and experience, and this is going to be a best of 3. So this first game is really going to set off the pace. Holy gosh! Okay, guys, when I get a full 8 hours of sleep, I promise you I can speak English. But until that happens, which I plan on doing it tonight. And it looks like we're going to see the setup for a standard Shipyard Forge Fast Expand. Now, is this pylon a little too close? I do feel like it might be a little too close, but we're going to find out the hard way. I do have faith in Upriser as he has fought his way to the finals and is going to go ahead and try his best here in a very difficult matchup. PvZ these days seems to be definitely seems to favor Zerg in the late game, mid to late game, but in the early game, sometimes in the early game, Protoss can go ahead and catch Zerg off guard sometimes with a powerful 2-base attack, and those proxy pylons giving them that instant refuel of army that they need so desperately. Go ahead and close the deal. So we have these overlords. Gonna go ahead and scout around the base. Gonna go ahead and get complete vision as to what's going on in the main. We do have a hatchery going down. A very nice move by Stranger. Now here's the nice part about this, is that he can cancel this, and once he cancels this, the creep is gonna still be there, and that creep is slow. That creep is slow to disappear, and it looks like he is gonna put the evolution chamber. Wow, Stranger. Actually, Stranger, very nice play, man. This is really going to set Protoss's expansion back quite a bit, but at the same time, it does look like Stranger isn't putting his expansion down quite yet. So this may actually even up a lot more than we wanted to, or that Stranger would like it to, and the hero Jones gonna find this Proby. This Proby is gonna get escorted out of the base. Forwardlings on the map, no pylons to speak of to go ahead and deny these expansions. And of course, over here at the natural of Uprising, this evolution chamber is going to be so powerful, because it's really going to delay this nexus for so long. And right now, I'm not sure what Uprising is considering doing. Is if he could switch into some kind of +1 4-gate or something strange. It is going to take so long for him to power this evolution chamber down. But in the meantime, Stranger is going to go ahead and grab his expansion. I wouldn't be surprised to see a very fast third, as he already knows that the Forge Fast Expand is commencing. Very nice, getting the core down at a reasonable time. Very common for Protoss to have this happen to them. Plop down the nexus as fast as possible, and then realize that their gates were just idle here, and they can only build zealots because this core just didn't get down at a timely manner. The expansion going down, and we're not seeing a third quite yet. But what we see in the base is speed coming up. We do have some. The saturation is looking a little weak. However, there's a reason the saturation is looking weak, and with that said, Stranger is going to go ahead and build a Roach Warren at about 5 minutes and 50 seconds into this game. And so we're going to go ahead and see how powerful this is. Now, this wall is not quite a complete wall, but it can turn into a complete wall. We do have 2 cannons here already. Right now, Protoss is feeling like he has to play catch up with his Zerg opponent. and we'll see if he spots this. Now, Stranger does have the watchtower, does have eyes along the attack path, and is going to be able to see a lot that comes his way if Upriser decides to go ahead and put on some pressure. Seeing only Zealots for now. Core getting chrono boosted. The speed is just about done, and it looks like these roaches are just about ready to get made. And we do see 5 drones actually being made, so it looks like this isn't going to be a roach rush. It's actually going to be, he's actually just putting down the tech. But we're only seeing drones coming out, so this isn't a roach rush. This actually isn't the roach thing, this roach shenanigans that we may have thought. Now, there is a gap in here. I do think these lanes can just go ahead and run right by. And it does look like it. And actually, I do think he has this walled off. Very nice, putting these zealots on hold position so they don't go ahead and wander away. Now on the other end of the world, we do have the layer going up. Don't have 4 gases quite yet, so this could be. We might see a proxy hatchery go down, and we could see heavy roach aggression. No third as of yet. Ling's hanging out the watchtower. Just waiting idly. Uprising, putting this pylon here, maybe a little worried that maybe this Overlord's here for something a little more devious than your average Overlord. Something like a Nidus could really ruin the day. Hatchery almost 3/5 of the way done. Roaches, a few roaches plopping out. And right now we are having a bit of a standoff as Upriser wants to go ahead and get his economy booming, get that 2-base economy, and figure out what kind of army he wants to engage with. While on the other end of the world, it does look like Stranger's going to set up to take his 3rd. Alrighty, so both players are macroing up. Now it does look like Stranger went ahead and he's not making as many drones as he was earlier. He may be dedicating some resources. He is dedicating some resources to these roaches and the double evolution chambers going down. And this could be a very strong +1 push, as we do have queens at both ends of the world. No 3rd coming up quite yet. Not seeing a macro hatch either. Be very interesting to see if all we're gonna see are roaches from here on out. And here goes the attack. Moving on up to the ramp. Will these Zealots be able to hold? Very nice. Stranger checking out, looking for a 3rd. Not seeing anything here. He might be a little concerned about testing this wall, as he is dealing with a 2-base Protoss. But here comes the engagements. These Lings getting funneled right with these Zealots. But the wall is broken, and everyone's gonna go ahead and have a heyday. These roaches putting in a lot of shots. However, this wall does not look like it's gonna actually be broken. Zealots putting in some extra hurt as these stalkers are in the background, pewing away, and the wall. And it looks like Uprising is actually going to hold that with relative ease. Robo in the background, getting that immortal out for those in response to these trusty roaches. Now these roaches are going to be +1/+1 pretty darn soon, or at least +1 singular. More gateways going down, I do believe, and a +1 upgrade. It looks like we do have double forge upgrades. Very nice. You don't see this often in PvZ. It actually looks like he may have canceled this upgrade just now, or maybe it just finished. I'm actually not sure. I do think he just canceled it, but I did like a double forge. I think he figured that he didn't want the upgrade. He wants the gateway units. He wants a big army to go ahead and push. And now, 12 minutes in, we do see the 3rd plopping up. 2 gases, but we do have the Spire, but only 2 gases. Will he have enough? Will he have enough gas? Now here's actually a great time for Uprising to go ahead and push out, but I wonder if he can take this roach army. This is a healthy roach ball, and if he engages on this creep, it could be a little too much. We do see the classic Warp Prism going down. Completely missed the Warp Prism. But this Overlord didn't miss the Warp Prism. Now, once you see this Warp Prism, you can pretty much assume that your opponent is on his way to kill you. This is actually going to be a delicate time for Stranger, as he is supply blocked for the moment. There it goes. moving right on up. But at the same time, this Spire is going to go ahead and pop, and this is his army that he needs to defend right now. It does look like Upriser is going to go ahead and gather his forces. Is chrono boosting out another immortal. No chrono boost going down here, but he is going back to double upgrades, which I really like. This immortal going to go ahead and meet up with his buddies, and this is going to be very delicate because that Spire just popped. That Spire is in the game. We're seeing Stalkers and 2 immortals. Will that be enough for this pack of roaches? Now these roaches can go ahead and snipe the immortals and then take on the Stalkers, but it does look like Upriser has his opponent Stranger. Has him matched. I do think he has a bigger army and a more powerful army, but this is going to come down to an engagement. Who attacks on whose ground? Uprising wanting to have this tower, wanting to keep this position strong. There is no third going down yet, as of yet. 2 more gases going down, most likely to supplement the Spire that he wanted to go ahead and plop down. Here comes the engagement. Some Zealots going to go ahead and keep these roaches occupied. These roaches doing exactly what they need to. Sniping these immortals. 1 shot, 2 shot, but did he lose too many roaches? Too many. It does look like he's outnumbered. It does look like he's pretty outnumbered against all these Stalkers. Stalkers putting in so much damage. And the sad part about these the roaches is they have to do the walk of shame as these Stalkers go ahead and pew pew pew. Alright, so we have 32 lings. All of this larva is going to go ahead into the ling production. He's seeing Stalkers. And do we have Blink? We actually do have Blink. It looks like he's going to blink into the main and completely avoid this army. I don't know if he's going to do it right now. He's just sitting tight, and there goes the Blink. This immortal is all alone, but he is going to put in some damage right now, just firing against these lings. And these Stalkers are going to have the high ground. Go ahead and keep blunking up. Very nice. This War Prism with an immortal in it. Right now, Stranger is at a big disadvantage. He doesn't have the larva right now. He does have 18 lings coming in, but it looks like they are coming in piecemeal. This is going to be very tense for Zerg. Here comes some lings, some at a time. Here comes some more. I think these are the last reinforcements that we're going to see. And there we go. Stranger's going to go ahead and GG. Does look Upriser took that game.